The sirens hit before I even closed the car door. Blue and red lights bouncing off my cabin windows like a disco from hell, 2 sheriff's deputies already halfway up the porch steps, hands near their belts. And there, center stage in my driveway, was Karen, the HOA president who'd made it her personal mission to terrorize this neighborhood, pointing straight at me like I just robbed a bank. "That's him," she barked. "That's the squatter I told you about." I just stood there, stunned, key still in my hand. Squatter. That was my cabin. I built it with actual sweat and splinters and late nights and every spare weekend for 2 years straight. The cedar siding. I stained it myself. The garden. Planted by hand, 1 shovel at a time. That cabin by Panwell Lake wasn't just a house site, was all I had left of peace, of purpose, of Lynn, my wife, gone 4 years now. I'd been gone for 2 months, yeah, but for good reason, helping my daughter Emily with her first baby in Florida. And now I'm back, and apparently I don't even belong on my own porch. One of the deputies stepped forward, all calm and professional. "Sir, we got a report of a possible break-in. Can we see some ID?" I raised my hand slowly, said sure, yeah, no problem, and before I could even reach toward the glove box, Karen screamed. "He's reaching for a weapon." Just like that, both officers went full tactical guns out, shouting commands. And I swear to you, in that frozen second, all I could think was, this woman's trying to get me killed. Let me back up a sec. I'm Mark Donnelly, 58, retired shop teacher, widower, decent cook, mediocre fisherman, and the guy who made the mistake of trusting the wrong person with his front porch. After Lynn passed, I left the suburbs for some peace. Pinewell was supposed to be quiet. I found the cabin half-rotted and forgotten, bought it from the bank cheap, and spent 2 years turning it into something real. But from the first day I arrived, Karen was there with her clipboard, her fixed smile, and her HOA bylaws. She told me, exterior modifications need board approval. I was just repainting the shutters. Mailbox color matters. I nodded. Tried to stay cordial. You see, I believed in kindness, still do, though I gotta admit, I'm questioning it these days. I shoveled her driveway in winter, helped her replace a hose spigot once. Even when she barked about garbage cans and lawn heights and the sacred HOA-approved shade of brown, I kept my smile. But Karen, she saw kindness as weakness. So fast forward. I leave town for 2 months. Before I go, I lock everything up, email the HOA like I'm supposed to, even ask Karen to keep an eye on the place. Happy to, she chirped, sipping from her boss lady mug. Would hate for anything to happen. I come home and see cars in the driveway, a strange welcome mat, new white curtains in the windows, curtains I sure as hell didn't buy. Something felt wrong in my gut. I popped open my laptop in the car, logged into the Wi-Fi, and there it was. Rustic Lakeside Retreat, listed under Karen's name. Photos of my bedroom, my kitchen, my hand-carved dining table, my late wife's quilt. My whole life, up for $189 a night. I got out of the car fast, heart pounding, trying to stay calm. And that's when Karen came storming across the street like she owned the land I was standing on. "You can't be here," she snapped. "You left. I've been maintaining the place." She actually said that like she'd done me some kind of favor by changing the locks and playing landlord. Then she dialed the cops. Back to the present in the driveway, hands raised, officers on edge. I finally get my ID out, slowly, and just then twist of old twister black SUV pulls in. A couple steps out, holding hands, matching Lake Life Crew 2024 t-shirts. "Hi," the woman chirps. "Is this our rental?" Karen goes pale. The couple. They're excited. They booked a cabin for the 4th of July weekend, paid $800, thought it was owned by Karen, your superhost. You could see the light bulb go off in the deputy's eyes. "Ma'am," one of them says to Karen, "can you explain this?" She tries to brush it off, claims it's all a mix-up. But the guest pulls out her phone, shows the booking confirmation. My blood starts to boil. I say, loud enough for the street to hear, "That's my cabin." Karen shoots back, "You abandoned it." Then under her breath, low and bitter, "Empty houses lower property value." The deputy turns back to me, takes my ID, checks the title on file. Matches. "Sir," he says, "this looks like your property." "Ma'am, you need to speak to a detective." Karen doesn't argue. Just spins around and marches back home like she's late for brunch. The couple, thoroughly creeped out, leaves without unpacking. I walk into my cabin and immediately notice the little changes: couch cushions rearranged, someone else's candle still warm, a gold earring under the guest bed. And the worst? A framed photo I don't recognize. Some happy stranger smiling on my porch. I felt hollow. Violated. And I knew this wasn't a one-time thing. So I dug. Found her fake hosting profile. Found dozens of reviews, 5 stars across the board. "Our go-to escape," one guest wrote. Host was lovely, very responsive. There were dates that lined up with my hospital stay last year, a trip to see Emily, even a funeral I attended in Ohio. This woman had built a business off my absence. Next morning, she had the gall to email me an HOA violation for unauthorized short-term guest. Yeah, that happened. She broke into my home, then fined me for it. That's when I called Jackson, my old student turned attorney. Tough as nails, smart as hell. He looked through my evidence, screenshots, receipts, security footage from a nearby neighbor and said one word: lawsuit. But before we could even file, the harassment started. A dead fish in my mailbox, wrapped in my dish towel. My wedding photo smashed. Curtains slashed. She even installed a surveillance post at the edge of my driveway, claiming suspicious activity. I filed another police report. Deputies advised me to install cameras of my own, document everything. That's when Donemi, quiet neighbor with the poodle, showed up at my door with a notebook. "She's done this before," she whispered. Inside were years of notes. Dawn tracking when people left town. Planning rentals. Justifying it all under neighborhood preservation. I posted it all in the community forum. No holding back. Screenshots, booking confirmations, photos, quotes from the notebook. People exploded. Some were outraged, some claimed they always suspected something, but no one said they were surprised. And just like that, the tide turned. The HOA launched an internal probe. The board suspended Karen. My lawyer filed civil charges. Neighbors showed up at my door with cookies, stories, and screenshots of their own. Turns out, I wasn't her only target. Not by a long shot. Karen. She got arrested. Released on bail. Last I saw her, she was standing across the street in a hoodie, watching me barbecue with the neighbors she used to rule. No clipboard. No mug. No smile. But I'll say this: I don't think she's done. And maybe that's the point. This whole story. It's not just about one shady neighbor with too much power. It's about how easy it is for people to get away with things when no one's looking, or worse, when everyone sees and says nothing. So yeah, I stood up. Finally. But I didn't do it alone. Now I want to hear from you. What would you have done? Is this just a case of one bad apple, or is the whole HOA system rigged for abuse? Ever had a neighbor like Karen? Tell me your story in the comments, because trust me, someone out there needs to know they're not the only one.